When it's a chilly day, I really enjoy baking something yummy in my oven, and I'm going to show you how I make a special treat that's been popular in my family for many years. These are called Apple Raisin Crumb Bars, and they bake in an 8-inch square pan, and they have a nice base of an apple raisin filling and then a crumb topping. So to make them, I've got a bowl here in which I'm going to put some dry ingredients, and I'm going to put 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of whole wheat pastry flour, and then I've got 1/2 cup of brown sugar here that I'll add in, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I will mix all of those ingredients together. I'll break this up with my spoon since I packed it in to the measuring cup, and loosen that back up and stir those ingredients together. And I'm not so concerned about breaking up the brown sugar clumps completely, because I'm going to continue stirring these together as time goes on. I'm going to add in 5 tablespoons of butter, and I have kind of chopped up that butter into smaller pieces because I'm going to cut it in to these dry ingredients with a pastry blender, and they'll be easier to cut in to the dry ingredients when they are already cut up a little bit. So this is my pastry blender. I've had it for many years. It's a vintage pastry blender, and I really like the way it works when I cut butter into ingredients. So I just turn it slightly as I press down on it through the butter into the dry ingredients. And I want to have a mixture that is about the size, like the little clumps in it, about the size of peas. So I'll just keep working that in until I see that kind of mixture. And every once in a while I'll clear my pastry blender with a knife, because sometimes the butter does get stuck in between there, and so just clear that out and continue with the slight turning motion of the pastry blender. Well, this looks like a nice mixture now, and I see pea-sized clumps in there, lots of them, so I'm going to just go ahead and set my pastry blender down, and I'm going to add in 1 cup of quick cooking oatmeal, and I can just stir that in and get that all nicely and evenly combined. And it doesn't take long, just give it a few tosses with the spoon. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of smooth this out, because I'm going to kind of divide this in half and just use half of this mixture for right now. I'm going to take half of the mixture and put it in my 8-inch square glass baking dish. And I have already greased this, so I'm going to just spoon this into the dish, half of this crumb mixture here. And this is going to be the base for my bars. Okay, that's good. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of even it all out. And now with my fingers, just press down firmly so that I have a nice even layer, a nice even base for these bar cookies. Okay, well that looks great. Now I'm just going to set this off to the side for a minute. And I can set this off to the side too for just a minute while I grab another bowl, because I'm going to put together my apple raisin mixture. So I have 2½ cups of finely chopped apples that I'm going to put in this large bowl. And I chop them up finely so that they will bake into a nice and soft mixture. And I've got that 2½ cups in there, and I'm going to add a ½ cup of raisins. So that'll be our nice fruit. And I'm going to also sprinkle these fruits over with 1/4 cup of sugar and some spices to give it some nice flavor. And first of all, 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. So these are the same kind of spices that go in an apple pie. And in fact, this nice apple raisin filling will have a little bit of a taste of apple pie to it when it's all baked. So it'll be really yummy. So I'll just stir that all together till everything is nicely combined. Oh, that just looks and smells lovely. Okay. Well, now I'm going to go back to our baking pan. And what I can do now is spoon this mixture, the apple raisin mixture, over the base of the bars. So for the last little bit, I'll just scoop that out like that, and then just kind of smooth it out. Okay, looking good. Well, now I can set this bowl back here out of the way, and I'm going to grab this one again. This is the rest of our crumb mixture. And what I'm going to do with this is add even a little bit more butter to it. I have 3 more tablespoons of butter that I have chopped up. And so I'm going to scoop that into this crumb mixture too. And then take my pastry blender again and cut this additional 3 tablespoons of butter into the remaining crumb mixture. Okay, well, we're almost there. I still see a few large clumps of butter. So we'll just, I'll clear my pastry blender with my knife again. And we'll just give this a few more turns with the pastry blender. Okay, we'll just kind of cut through that with a knife a little bit. And that looks really good. So I'm going to go back to this nice mixture again. And I'm just going to crumble the remaining crumb mixture over the top. I'm going to spread it on top of the apples and raisins and spices with my fingers and get that evenly distributed over the top. Okay, well, we're down to the last little bit here. And I'll just put that on there. And so now I am ready to put this in the oven, and I'm so excited about that. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and wash my hands off. They're a little bit messy, but I've already preheated my oven to 400 degrees. So join me back here when I've got my hands washed, and we'll get these in the oven. So I'm going to bake these now at 375 degrees. I've already got my oven preheated, and I'm going to bake them for 35 minutes or until they're nice and golden on the top. So we'll just slide this into the oven. It's on the middle rack of my oven. So join me back here after 35 minutes when I'll check them. It just smells so good, and it looks wonderful too. Such a nice golden brown color. So I'll set that right there and go ahead and turn off my oven. And I will let that cool, and then I'll cut into it. I have just cut these Apple Raisin Crumb Bars into 16 pieces. You can cut them into however many pieces you want. I don't think I would cut them into any smaller than 16 pieces. But I've got one piece out here on this plate, and I'm going to put another one out. It just looks so nice, and they smell so good. And they are great, just served on their own, just like this. But I'm going to add something a little extra to them this time. And I have some vanilla ice cream here that I'm going to put on the side. And I've let it soften up a little bit so that it's easy to scoop out. But I'll just put this off to the side of the bars. Such a nice combination. And this is very similar in flavor to an apple pie, so it's almost like having a little bit of an apple pie a la mode. So put that there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a drizzle of caramel sauce. So, and I'm going to drizzle it both over the ice cream and the Apple Raisin Crumb Bar. And then, oh, enjoy, but you need a fork. There you go. Okay. Now this one will be mine. So, oh, I'm looking so forward to this. So now I'll take a taste. So I'll get a little bit of ice cream on there and a little bit of the crumb bar. That is just scrumptious. Oh. A nice crisp and flaky texture to the topping and the base. Such a delicious, flavorful filling of apples and raisins. Enjoy.